2025 Paper 2 Question 10c. We had to get the equations that we found in A and B, and we have them here. Watch the last video if you're not too sure what these equations are, because these are relevant to question C. But pause the video if you want to have a go at it. Those are the equations and that's the question. So now that you've maybe paused it and had a look at it, let's read it. So Beth has 6 stacks of paving slabs and 5 stacks of edging blocks. And we have to find the total weight on Beth's lorry. But to do that, you need to know what the weight of 1 stack of paving slabs and a stack of edging blocks is. We're told that P is the weight of a stack of paving slabs and E is the weight of a stack of edging blocks. We're told this up here, but you don't know what P and E are, so you have to find out what P and E are. But we have 2 equations, so we can then solve these as simultaneous equations, then find the values of P and E. So that's the first thing we have to do. Now the technique for this is, you can either choose the coefficients of P or the coefficients of E. But what you have to do is, you have to scale these equations such that the number in front of one of these terms, the numbers in front are the same. The signs do not matter, just that the numbers are the same. So I'm going to go with 3 and 4 because it's a bit easier, but you can do something similar with the 7 and the 3. The lowest common multiple of 3 and 4 is 12. So then what we have to do is, we have to scale both of these equations such that the number in front of E is 12. It does not matter at the minute if it's a positive or a negative 12. We just need it to be 12. I'm going to call this equation 1 and equation 2. So you have to scale up the equations to get a 12, regardless of it being a positive or a negative. So if we multiply 3 by 4, we get 12. But if we multiply the 3e by 4 to get 12e, we have to multiply the entire equation by 4. So equation 1 times 4. We're going to call this equation 1 star with a star above it, because we have to use this exact version of the equation. It's technically the same equation as equation 1, but we have to use the scaled version, and 1 with a star means it's the scaled version. So multiplying the whole thing out by 4, we get 28p plus 12e equals 9,600. Is 9,600. And having a look at equation 2, if we multiply 4e by 3, we get 12e. but we then have to multiply the entire thing through by 3 and call this one 2 star because it's the scaled up version. And to multiply this by 3, we get 9p plus 12e equals 3,900. Now, we said we had to get the same number in front of one term. It can either be the P or the E. Now the numbers in front of the P do not match up, but the numbers in front of the E do match up. 12 and 12. So we've succeeded in the first thing we have to do. The next thing we have to do is cancel out one of the terms. Now, because we've matched up the number in front of the E, we can then do some maths and we can then eliminate the E and get an equation in just P. So if you take away equation 2 from equation 1, or equation 2 star from equation 1 star, watch what happens. So we have equation 1 star minus equation 2 star. So if you take away 9p from equation 1 star, you get 19p. We've got 12e and we're going to take away 12e. So we don't have e. So we've eliminated e from the equation. And 9,600 take away 3,900 is 5,700. And we want to solve in order to find p. So doing that is 5,700 divided by 19 is 300. So we have p equals 300. And we have to then substitute p back into an equation and we have to find e. I'm going to recommend you don't use the scaled equations because it's more complicated, because multiplying by 28 gets complicated. So I recommend you use the original non-scaled equations, i.e. the ones we found in parts A and B before we scaled them up. So I'm going to pick equation 2, but you can technically use any equation, even the scaled ones, but your safest bet is to use a non-scaled one. So equation 2, let's substitute p equals 300 into this. That's going to be 3 times 300 plus 4e equals 1,300. 3 times 300 is 900. So 900 plus 4e is 1,300. And taking away 900 from either side gives us 4e equals 400, and cancelling the 4 on either side, because 4e is 4 multiplied by e, cancelling the 4 gives us e equals 100. I'm actually going to take out the piece 300, and we get e is 100. Let's test out what we have by plugging it into equation 1. So we get 7p is 7 times 300 is 2100. 3e is 3 times 100 is 300. Then 2100 plus 300 gives us 2400 as we need. So we have the values p and e. P is the weight of a stack of paving slabs. We'll say stack of paving slabs. Would be 300 kilograms. We want to actually state or explain what P and E mean in context. And the weight of a stack of edging blocks, so stack of edging blocks, is 100 kilograms. But it says that we have to find the total weight. We have 6 stacks of paving slabs. I will put Beth, and we'll say the weight is 6 times P, and 5 stacks of edging blocks is 5e. Sorry. Giving us 6 times 300. And 5 times 100. Giving us a total weight of 1,800 plus 500 is 2,300 kilograms. And we'll just put that this sorry, is the total weight, because that then answers the question. We'll have a look at how the SQA gave out the points in this question. Section A and B were 1 mark each. You either got it or you didn't. This is 4 marks. We're going to have a look at how the SQA have done this. The first mark would be for scaling the equations. You could either do this by matching up the numbers in front of E or P. I chose E. The second mark would be for P. The third mark would be for E. And the fourth mark would be for the final answer. Let's have a look at these. You would get no marks for showing no steps or no working, and you would also get no marks if you use substitution. So if you use any methods of like guess and check or trial and error, you get nothing. So if you tried to plug numbers into the equations in A and B with the hope of finding the values of P and E, that doesn't cut it. You have to use the method that I've shown you. As a general rule for Nat 5 maths, unless the question asks you to use a trial and error method, always use a mathematical method where possible. So use a formula, use an exact method rather than guessing or trying to plug numbers in and checking which ones work, which ones don't. This, as a general rule, you usually lose marks. There might be exceptions based on the question if it specifies use trial and error, but and the last mark would be unavailable if P or E is negative, and the reason for that is part of the question is being able to use logic, and the logic is that P and E are both weights. So you can't possibly have a negative weight. It doesn't make sense for something to have a weight of minus 50 kilograms. That simply isn't possible. So you would lose marks if you wrote negative values, because it shows to the marker that you don't understand the context of the question. Because if you understood the context of the question and you checked your answer, you did what's called a sanity check, you would notice that having a negative weight is nonsense. Anyway, I hope you found this video useful, and thanks for watching. Best of luck studying, and if you have any questions, just leave a comment.